This is a public service.
Will prosecutor be joining us? Let's go on the record.
Anytime, Kim.
It is now 11:01 a.m. We are on the record in the 13th Judicial District, the District Court of Greenwood County, Kansas. Please announce appearances.
The defendant, Mr. Moller, appears in person with counsel Christopher Ambrose, Farvis Legal.
I see a picture of County Attorney Jill Gillett on the screen, and it says County Attorney Office, but we don't have a prosecutor today.
Judge Jill is in a special setting Elk County trial. She found out on the 15th, 16th that this would be taking place with Judge Ricky, kind of a high profile case down there. And so we started putting in place the replacement or continuances that might be on contested hearings on the 17th of January. This is the only one that was not resolved.
And Judge, if I may,
Just a moment. All right, so the person speaking is Jessica of the
Yep.
County Attorney's Office, is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Now, at 10 o'clock, a hearing was called and we had a pro tem. You're saying that pro tem is not available?
That is correct. Ms. Gillett did not have Ms. Oliver on for this hearing because she had already taken the steps to do the motion to continue, where we might even in most cases just get a date by email prior to the hearing setting. And I checked in last week to see if that was going to be the case as well. I have been trying to work on this, but Ms. Oliver is not prepped for a contested hearing today.
This hearing was set November 22nd, 2024. Both parties told me they had the date available. Now, I do see that a motion for continuance was filed, but it was never brought to my attention, as I recall, until this morning when I was preparing for this hearing, that wait a minute, I've got the wrong case called, just half a second. Clicked on the wrong one. Yes, November 22nd, 2024, this was set for evidentiary prelim. And both parties did tell me they had today's date available. And then there was apparently a motion to continue filed by the state. But that motion was not heard. That motion was to continue was filed January 23rd, 2025, which would have been 5 days ago.
Is that the e-file date, Your Honor? I just want to verify, or the date that it got sent to the queue. I don't know if we can
Just tell you that's the date it was filed. Whether it got to my queue or not, I don't recall. But that's the last document, was a motion filed 5 days ago. And it simply says, comes now to state by and through Jill R. Gillett, Greenwood County Attorney, respectfully requests a continuance alternate date for the motion hearing currently scheduled for January 28th at 11 o'clock. So the motion hearing apparently was intended to be today. Prosecutor will be in Elk County. Certificate of service says that on January 25th, the true and accurate copy of the above and foregoing was mailed to the following: Honorable Judge Webster, and sent to Richard Paul, attorney of record, and he is not the attorney of record.
Yeah, that would have been a mistake. I do remember yesterday, Judge, I wish Jill was here to clarify some of this with us, that she mentioned her and Chris had been discussing this case, but she never told me a resolution, a plan. I didn't know if Chris had an update on their discussions.
Well, last I knew, the judge granted continuances. That it wasn't granted by prosecutor, by defense attorney, and then just dropped in the day of hearing and said, oh, by the way, Judge, we agreed to a continuance 5 days ago.
No, I understood. I guess I meant maybe a waiver or stipulation, Your Honor. I'm sorry, I don't know what they were discussing.
All right, well, you're getting the brunt of what your boss did or didn't do, Jessica. I understand the situation that you're trying to do the best you can in. All right, Mr. Ambrose, you wanted to address the court, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Gillett had been in contact with me about this. I had attempted to get in touch with Mr. Miller, and we had evidently had some problems with that. If I could have just a couple minutes with him, we might be able to, I can hopefully give the court some more guidance. And then we could take care of that if the court would allow us to.
Well, I don't know that I need guidance, but I will grant
Or
you.
at least our position. Let me,
I will grant you the breakout room. Thank you. Missy, if you would please put Mr. Ambrose and the defendant in a breakout room. Missy, I think we've waited long enough. Do you want to see if you can get defendant and defense counsel back?
Yes, I'll close the room.
I'm sorry.
I will close the room.
Thank you. We are back on the record in Greenwood County 2024 CR 140, State of Kansas versus Wayne Allen Moeller. We still have no prosecutor. We do have back with us Chris Ambrose, defense attorney, and the defendant, Mr. Moeller. Jessica, what's your official title down there?
Legal assistant, Your Honor.
Thank you, legal assistant. All right, you know, in all the time I've known you down there, I wasn't sure. All right, and we have no prosecutor because Miss Gillett is tied up in an Elk County jury trial, correct?
Yes. Started, I believe, this morning at 9 a.m.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ambrose, you've had a chance to talk with your client. Are there any new developments from your side of the case?
Your Honor, I spoke with him, and in light of kind of the situation that Ms. Gillett's found herself in, we don't have an objection to continuing this. If we could just get a new date set, and hopefully Jessica will be able to have a calendar so we could get that set. I'd like to make sure that we have it set for an evidentiary, if she's got a calendar to where we can do so. So we don't have to have Mr. Mueller come back just for a status hearing and sit around for that sometimes long docket.
Well, we better not just have a status conference. I had this set for evidentiary hearing again since November 22nd, 2 months ago. And then I come in and a few minutes before court and I'm told that, oh, the county attorney continued it 5 days ago without consulting the court. I think it's unfortunate that Ms. Gillett is supposed to be in 2 courts at once, but that was the responsibility she took on when she ran for county attorney in both Elk and Greenwood County. She certainly gave the appearance that she could take care of both of us as needed. And now I've been bumped for something going on in Greenwood County. Surely a pro tem could have been called for. I know Judge Hutchison used to appear as a pro tem, retired Judge Hutchison. Mary Ann Shirley, local attorney, has done that. Miss Oliver, who I understand has lots of experience in various counties as prosecutor, assistant prosecutor, was here just an hour ago in a case. And Assistant County Paul Dean helps cover the cases. So I'm just really put off that, first of all, a prosecutor would take it upon herself to just decide she didn't have to be here and she didn't have to talk to the judge about it or work it out. This case involves very serious charges. Count 1 is unlawful distribution of controlled substance. The defendant is accused of a level 2 drug felony, allegedly possessing back on July 26th, 2024, approximately 54 grams of the controlled substance methamphetamines. In count 2, he is accused of on that date also possessing fentanyl, a level 5 drug felony. In count 3, he is accused of possessing paraphernalia to help manufacture, cultivate, plant, propagate, harvest, test, analyze, or distribute controlled substance. Count 4, he's accused of an aggravated weapons violation by possessing an AR platform rifle while having been convicted as a person felony under Kansas law in an aggravated battery case out of Sedgwick County. In count 5, he was accused of the felony charge criminal carrying of a weapon to wit a shotgun with a barrel less than 18 inches in length. He was accused in count 6 of having an amount of drugs that required a drug dealer tax stamp, a felony. Count 7, he was accused of defacing the identification marks of a firearm, intentionally changing, altering, removing, or obliterating the name of the maker, model, manufacturer's number, or other marks on a 12-gauge shotgun. Excuse me. Those are the felonies that I was to hear evidence on today and to determine if there was probable cause to believe these crimes took place and that this defendant committed them. The defendant does have the right to a timely preliminary hearing, and we are well beyond timely, being these allegedly occurred July 26, 2024. I also noticed in preparing for this case today that 2 Greenwood County Sheriff's deputies had been subpoenaed. They were subpoenaed clear back December 6th for today. Where are they? Did Ms. Gillett take it upon herself to cancel them, or did they just fail to honor their subpoenas? Does anyone know?
No, ma'am, they would be available if I need them. They're just on standby.
All right, so they were told to be on standby, but not necessarily be here. All right, thank you for that information. Well, I'd like to call them from standby and start this hearing. You don't have any prosecutor available, though. No, Ms. Gillett didn't arrange for any prosecutor to be here? Jessica?
It was my understanding she did not want to impose on another prosecutor to do a contested hearing. She didn't feel comfortable with that. Since these are her charges, she filed them. She wanted to be the one to potentially present the evidence to you herself. Because Miss Oliver is actually covering the rest of the things today that aren't contested. This was a Mrs. Gillett decision. We just tried to follow through and get it disposed of before 11 today.
God forbid we'd impose on a prosecutor pro tem that's reserved her day and not think twice about imposing on a judge or a defense attorney or a defendant. I don't know why it would be that Miss Oliver, who is experienced, would be more inconvenienced than any of the rest of us. But again, I am barking at the wrong person. Jessica doesn't, as a legal assistant, doesn't control the county attorney. The county attorney doesn't control the judge, although she has today. What's the chances if I set this for another day, it'll go to prelim and Miss Gillett won't cancel it again?
It is my understanding that the Elk County trial today should rectify that Elk County case today, so there should not be any other special settings from Judge Rickey. So I do have a calendar available, whatever date you pick, I will make sure she's clear.
Well, I can't believe when Judge Rickey set a case over mine that he either A, knew I had this case going or didn't expect the prosecutor to get with me about it before today. But in any event, I understand there are cases that need to be tried, but there's also protocol on how you continue other cases. So That being said, Missy, what is the next available evidentiary hearing date that you have? Because this defendant and his attorney are entitled to an evidentiary hearing.
What about Friday, February 7th? I have 11 o'clock, or I have some time in the afternoon.
Mr. Ambrose, do any of those work for you, or either of those?
What was
I've
that
got-
date again, Missy? Sorry.
February 7th.
Could we look at the afternoon that date? Do you have anything after 2?
We're actually completely open in the afternoon, so we could do 2 o'clock or
Could we
2:30.
do 2? Could we do 2:30 just out of an abundance of caution?
Yeah.
If that would be possible. I'm sorry, I'm in Geary County later that morning. I've got you guys first thing in the morning. I've got Geary after that. And I'd like to be able to drive back to Emporia so I'm not stuck in Geary County until the end of the day and then driving in dark because I'm an old man with terrible eyes.
2:30 works for Jill.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. If that works, I want to make sure you have plenty of time so you don't get penalized for this situation we had today.
No, that'll give me enough time, Judge. That means I have to be out of Junction City by 1 to be back to my office in time. So that's plenty of time.
All right. Mr. Moeller, any reason why you can't be here at that time? Any doctor's appointments or anything previously scheduled?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to continue the bond you are on with all existing conditions. Don't be possessing, of course, any firearms or having any contact with people you've been told not to.
Right.
So with that being said, I think we've covered what we can and we'll be in recess. Thank you all.
We're out here today to ensure our natural rights are respected by those who swore an oath to support, protect, and defend the rights of the people. The purpose of all interactions is to peacefully promote government accountability and transparency. Please like, share, and subscribe so this message can reach as many people as possible. I implore you to peacefully seek redress to any and all of your grievances. This is a public service.